Hello, I'm Dwayne Cave, and thank you for joining us. I'll be your host for the next half hour as we discuss important issues facing the city of Irvine with 4 candidates who are vying for the city council seats. Each would serve 4-year terms. The South Orange County Economic Coalition and Cox Communications have teamed up to host a series of forums featuring local candidates on the ballot for the November 4th general election. We believe an informed electorate is a vital component of our democratic process. It's an honor to bring them to you. Today, we're pleased to welcome our candidates. They are Lynn Schott, Jeff Lolloway, Evan Chemers, and Melissa Scott. Here's the format for this forum. Melissa Fox. And the format for the forum is each candidate will be allowed up to 2 minutes to make an opening statement. I will then pose a series of questions to which each candidate will have 1 minute to respond. At the end of these questions, each candidate will have 1 minute to provide a summary closing statement. Our first opening statement will be delivered by Lynn Schott.
I want to thank the South Orange County Economic Coalition and Cox Communications for the opportunity to appear on this forum today. And as a 29-year Irvine resident, I value what makes Irvine great: cultural diversity, world-class education, outstanding public safety, award-winning master planning, and business innovation. And as your city councilwoman, I will not lose sight of these priorities. Irvine has had a rich and colorful history, and I want us to enjoy a vibrant and prosperous future. My goal is for Irvine to be the #1 business-friendly city in the region, encouraging innovation and job creation. Irvine should also be known as the center of educational excellence, academic achievement, and cultural appreciation. I look forward to working with all members of our community to achieve these goals. As a business owner and an educator, I understand how important our entrepreneurs are to the future of Irvine. I appreciate our business owners, and I want to ensure that city policies encourage opportunity and success. To accomplish this, we must work to cut every bit of unreasonable red tape, preventing business from opening their doors or from expanding to meet consumer needs. We need to promote programs that help students gain the knowledge and skills that they need to become tomorrow's entrepreneurs and Irvine leaders. We need to maximize business retention and attraction programs and fully support economic vitality and workforce development initiatives. Some have raised the issue of development and housing in our city, and I shared that concern, which is why I took action on the Planning Commission to remove mandates for high-rise, high-density, and increased density within our city. Together with my husband, Russ, we've raised and educated our 3 children here in Irvine, spent hundreds of hours volunteering for many organizations throughout the city. Irvine is my home, and I'm committed to making it even greater in the future. Thank you for having me here today.
Next, we'll hear from Jeff Lolloway.
Thank you very much. My name is Jeff Lolloway, and I am your current city council member in the city of Irvine. But more importantly, I am a husband. My wife's name is Laura. She does cancer research, literally saving thousands of lives with her work in cancer research for Novartis Pharmaceuticals. More importantly than that even is I'm a father of 2 very young girls, Reagan, age 11, and Sydney, age 7, just had a birthday. She's age 7. Both my children attend Irvine schools these days. So I have as a goal to make sure that Irvine schools remain one of the top school districts in the entire country. I also am a small business owner. I practice law in the city of Irvine. I've been an attorney for 25 years. My goals are to continue on the same path that we're on right now, which is to make sure that Irvine stays as one of the top cities to live in the entire United States. We were voted last year as the best-run city, and Mayor Choi's leadership with me and Christina Shea have proven to keep Irvine as one of the top places to live in best-run cities in all of America. We also want to make sure that we keep public safety as one of our top priorities in our city, fully funding our police and making sure that our fire remains one of the top fire departments in the country. So if I'm elected again, I will make sure that our commitment to those 2 priorities are #1 and #2, and third, making certain that we keep Irvine, our suburban character, intact, and we don't move towards a urban character of our city. Thank you.
The next opening statement will be delivered by Evan Chemers.
Hi. Well, I'm originally from the area and never left. I started working at the age of 11 delivering newspapers for the OC Register. I have a business degree from Cal State Fullerton. I've been in the industrial packaging supply industry for over 18 years. I started a packaging company here in Irvine 3 years ago. In 2010, I was elected to Irvine's Quail Hill Board of Directors and voted board president by my colleagues. We stopped wasteful spending, dramatically improved services, and lowered homeowner assessments 3 times. In just 4 years, we doubled our HOA reserves from $4 million to $8 million. Most important, I personally intervened to help stop a 1.6 million square foot development plan around Quail Hill that would have added thousands of extra vehicles to our neighborhood streets. In 2011, I was elected to the Turtle Ridge HOA Board of Directors, where I ended the practice of non-competitive bid contracts for vendor services. At the beginning of my council campaign, I publicly pledged to knock on 10,000 doors by Election Day. Consequently, I had personal conversations with several thousands of voters. From those conversations, I developed a specific, achievable, and real plan that is good for all residents of Irvine. My plan includes 3 objectives. Number 1, upgrade our traffic management system with 21st century traffic synchronization technology. I'm going to vote against all unchecked high-density development projects that strain Irvine's aging infrastructure. I'll make certain our tax dollars are used wisely and with public competitive bids. I want to accomplish these things not because they are easy, but because they are hard and because all Irvine residents will benefit from these accomplishments. Thank you.
And our final opening statement will come from Melissa Fox.
Hi, I'm Melissa Fox. I'm an Orange County native. My father was a Korean War combat veteran who came to Orange County and bought a house on the GI Bill. My mother is a retired librarian. I first came to Irvine in 1984 when I was 16 and a freshman at UC Irvine. I transferred to Brandeis University and graduated from there, and while I was attending, I was a security guard part-time and bus tables at the faculty club. I then went on to law school, Tulane University in New Orleans. I came back here to Orange County, and I've been practicing business law for more than 20 years. I've represented developers, small and large. I had a license to a real estate broker's license, and my specialty is in fraud recovery. I'm a scout leader. I'm a reserve park ranger, formerly, and I'm also a booster for Beckman High School's football and wrestling teams. I'm a proud mother of a Beckman High School junior and the wife of Michael, who was the first person to receive his doctorate from the UC Irvine School of the Arts. I'm a community services commissioner here in the city, and my job is to advise the city council on parks and recreation, facilities, culture, and diversity. As a commissioner, I've created food tours so that we can promote our small businesses and create a sense of community here in Irvine. Irvine's an exciting and a dynamic place to live, but Irvine is at a crossroads, and this next election is crucial to the future of our city. We need a plan for Irvine's future. The council has not done enough for Irvine residents, and the results have been congestion and overcrowding in our schools. In just 2 years, we fell 8 places on Money's list of best places to live. The current council has no plan, only to do whatever the developers want. And planning is important in Irvine. Growth needs to be smart. Otherwise, we compromise our great schools, and we have overcrowding in our neighborhoods and traffic. Thank you so much. I'm Melissa Fox, be your next councilwoman in Irvine.
Thank you. We'll now begin the question portion of the forum. Each candidate will have 1 minute in turn to respond to the questions posed. The future of the Great Park continues to dominate the political narrative as well as the discourse on this campaign. While the city was successful in recouping some of the redevelopment dollars lost to the state, there are still funding challenges. If successful in November, what would be your first priority as council member to move the Great Park forward? This time we'll start with Mr. Lalaway.
Thank you very much. That is a great question. The Great Park is a very important part of Irvine, and when the new majority took office in the end of 2012, we were handed a mess at the Great Park, as everyone knows. There was at the time a big orange balloon, that big orange balloon we all love to hate. There was some palm trees and a big grassy field. We have turned that around. We have stopped the spending dead in its tracks. We've gotten rid of all of the consultants and political friends of the former council majority, and we've taken control of the Great Park and made it a place that people want to come. We've now, last night, literally, we had a grand opening for 688 acres of the park that are going to open up within the next 5 years. They'll be opening in a year, 24 soccer fields, 15 tennis courts, and a whole variety of other things over there. We have settled with the state of California for $292 million, which will provide us funding for the next phase of the Great Park. That $292 million, I will make certain every dollar of it goes into the ground to continue to build the Great Park. Thank you.
Same question, Mr. Chemers.
Well, the Great Park is one of the issues why I'm running. I first ran in 2012 for council, and it's been 10 to 12 years in the making. It's cost us $250 million of wasted taxpayer dollars over these years. And I just think it's a travesty where all these dollars have gone. The current audit's revealing that $42 million has gone to just a wasted design that can't even be used. So this $292 million the city is going to be receiving over the next decade, I'd like to use some of those funds towards Great Park development. I'd like to incentivize local businesses to start their companies there. One of the benefits of going the doors is hearing that Irvine families are concerned about these businesses that have been closing shop and are replaced with nothing or franchises. So I'd like to incentivize businesses to open up over by the Great Park and keep our spirit of a suburban character in place. Thank you.
And now, Ms. Fox.
Well, I wasn't here when the decisions were being made about the Great Park in the past, but I know what I will do about the Great Park in the future. I will fight to represent the residents in this city and make sure that all of the promised amenities are built as promised and to the highest specification and order. We need to work with the developer who has agreed to put the money into the ground and oversee it and make sure that amenities are provided that benefit all. For example, the bosque that is being put into place now does not currently have sufficient access. It is pretty much just a nice backyard for the houses that are being built around it. We need to have adequate parking and adequate access, and that is an example of the things that I will fight for in the future of the Great Park.
And now, Ms. Schott.
Thank you. The Great Park is one of those amenities that we now have the opportunity to actually bring online and into fruition here in Irvine, and I'm very excited about that. It's a large canvas ready to be painted on, and I'm very optimistic as a planning commissioner going through the process of reviewing the proposed plans in conjunction with the city and the developer. Just looking at the opportunity that we have, number one, for a world-class sports park. Soccer complex, softball, baseball, cricket, lacrosse. The opportunities are endless there for sports tourism, for having world-class tournaments and receiving those dollars into our city coffers. Very important for us to make sure that we have robust system of hotels there, so that people can stay at the hotel and lodging right next to where the tournaments are taking place. Shop at our stores, eat at our restaurants. It's going to be extremely important to do that, and that's something I will focus on as a council member.
The audit looking into how more than $200 million was spent on the Great Park contractors has itself cost Irvine taxpayers over $1 million. Please explain your position on the audit and whether or not you think it's a good investment of taxpayer dollars. We'll start this time with Mr. Chemers.
Yeah, it's real unfortunate it had to come to an audit. That's sort of unprecedented with a project of this size. And unfortunately, it cost $1 million to do so. But it was necessary. The audit has revealed massive amounts of waste, potentially fraud, a lot of abuse of taxpayer funds. And $1 million is really a small price to pay to find out this information so we can correctively solve this for the future, make sure this doesn't happen again. And the audit was a good idea. It needed to be done. It's unfortunate, though, but when that's finished, we'll move forward and we'll have some safeguards in place so this never happens again.
Ms. Fox.
Well, I'm a business attorney, and I absolutely believe in transparency and understanding what we've been spending our money on. I haven't seen the results of the audit. They haven't been released yet. I do want to wait and see exactly what the findings are rather than listening to allegations that have been just printed in the paper. From what I've heard, everything has been conducted by subcommittee, which hasn't been public yet. So I look forward to seeing the results of the audit. And as my background is in fraud, I think I would be uniquely qualified to understand where it went and what we could do about it if there is any wrongdoing.
And now, Ms. Schott.
Thank you. I do think it's very important for us to make sure that we get all of those involved deposed and make sure that they do give their statements. And it's important for the city and the attorneys for the city to receive all the documents that have been requested so that that report can be finished. I do think it's very important that we do complete the audit, and yes, there is a cost to that. But this is part of the public trust. As officers of the city, it is the responsibility of those who do hold elective office to be guardians of the public dollars. It's a very important part of conducting a transparent government. The public wants to know that they can trust us and that we will be the guardians of their dollars. And most importantly, beyond that, is we really must send a signal to investors that if they come and bring their investment dollars to Irvine, that we as city leaders are going to safeguard those dollars. That's going to create more economic activity. If they don't think that their dollars are safe here, safe in our hands, they're not going to bring their investment here.
And Mr. Lalloway.
Thank you. As your council member currently, Christina Shea and I have been the leaders in bringing forward this audit of the Great Park. And we must remember that every single public works project needs to be audited. We need to make certain and understand where $250 million of your money went. We need to find out exactly where every dime was spent. Now, we've seen some very disturbing depositions be released, some very disturbing statements. So disturbing, in fact, that the district attorney's office has sent us a letter indicating that he's looking into allegations of possible criminal problems at the Great Park. That would be unfortunate, but we certainly need to make certain that we know where every dollar went, and we are going to follow up to make certain that their corrections are put in place. I encourage you to vote for the Great Park Transparency ballot measure this fall, which I authored, to bring transparency to the Great Park so these kind of problems never occur in the future.
Irvine is among many Orange County and California cities that have been forced to address the issue of unfunded pension liabilities. How, in your opinion, has Irvine managed its obligations to current and future retired civil servants while protecting taxpayers from the costly ramifications associated with these retirement benefits? And what do you believe needs to be done moving forward? We'll start this question with Ms. Fox.
Thank you for that question. I think Irvine has done a really good job in moving to put more money aside to pay unfunded liabilities. It's all about balance sheets, and I have to understand the numbers. My concern is that we're losing public safety officers for failure to pay rates that are competitive with other cities. We've lost 8 officers this year. Public safety is very important. So we have to fund pensions, but we also have to pay our police officers competitive rates so that we don't lose them to other cities. We make a heavy investment into their training. We want to retain that investment in our city. We want to keep it the safest city time after time. And I'm concerned that we haven't been meeting the requisite pay levels.
And Ms. Schott.
Public safety officers are extremely valuable to the residents of Irvine. We are the safest city. We have been named the safest city now, I believe, for 10 years in a row. We have a marvelous public safety the officers and the chief. They do a fantastic job, and it is something that is very important to the success and the future of Irvine. We don't want to do anything to compromise the level of public safety coverage that we have in our city. That's why I was so concerned that going into the 2012 election that we had a $91 million unfunded pension liability. It was astounding to me that we could say that we value our public safety officers so highly, but yet have no funding for their pension or underfunding their pension. I'm very proud of the current council that has made a plan to pay off that unfunded liability, and I will continue to do that if elected, to vote in favor of budgets that do fill in that unfunded liability. It's extremely important that no matter what we do, whatever position we take as far as pensions, that we keep the promises that we make to our public safety officers.
Mr. Lalloway.
Thank you. Our unfunded debt in regard to our public pensions are a big problem for us here in California and in Irvine. When I took office, it was a $92 million debt, and I think that is massively unfair that we are going to send that debt to our children. My 11-year-old, my 7-year-old should not have to pay for our obligations. So what we've done in Irvine, the majority, Mayor Choi, Christina Shea, and me, we have taken the unprecedented step of paying that unfunded portion down. We were the first city in the state of California to take the step of moving forward and having a plan and starting to pay for the unfunded nature of our liabilities. So within 7 years, we will have our debt entirely paid off. Now, I am on the board of directors also of the Orange County Fire Authority and the executive committee there, and under my leadership, we took the same step at OCFA. So the OCFA pensions will also be paid off within a little longer period of time, but we have a plan for paying these off so that we don't have to take these pensions and send them down to our children.
And now, Mr. Chemers.
Well, first, I strongly believe that we do need to pay our city employees well for their faithful service that they've given. However, the 12.5% that they currently are getting just for their retirement alone is not sustainable in the long term. Now, keep in mind that's 12.5% just for retirement. If you add in other benefits, it comes out to around 18%. What I would like to do is, once elected, I'd like to put all new city workers on a 401k pension plan. And in addition to that, our collective bargaining agreement expires August of next year, so that's when that would take place. We currently do have 90+ million of unfunded pension liabilities, and the council has taken some necessary steps to get that down. However, the problem is the pensions themselves. We have to make sure that they're appropriately distributed, as well as with the private sector. Make sure they're in line with what the private sector gets, which is around 5 to 6% in their 401ks. So that's what I'd like to bring to the city, is responsible fiscal accountability regarding pensions. Thanks.
Well, thank you very much for your responses. We now move to the closing statements of 1 minute each. We'll start with Ms. Schott.
Thank you very much. It is such a blessing to live in our great city, and people who share our values are attracted to Irvine, and I welcome them. I see our new neighbors as a blessing to be embraced and not a problem that has to be solved. Our youth are looking for a different living experience than we are used to, and we need to plan ahead for their future while still protecting the charm of our existing villages. Years ago, when city leaders were making decisions about growth in Irvine, I tried hard to understand those decisions. And just when I got close to understanding, those same leaders have now changed their position, and I'm left still trying to understand those choices. As city leaders, our vote forms the basis of the decisions made by families and businesses, and we need to be trustworthy and dependable. We should not experiment with people's lives and livelihoods. As a city council member, I will always be mindful of how my vote affects you, and I'm committed to providing steady and trustworthy leadership. I'm Lynn Schott, and I'll be honored to earn your vote.
Mr. Lalloway.
Thank you. It has been my honor to serve as your city council member for the last 4 years. We have many things to be proud of in Irvine, and many things that I've moved forward with the majority here to keep us proud. First, we've continued to be the safest city in America, now for 10 years in a row. Secondly, we are one of the most fiscally secure cities in the entire nation. I have continued to vote for balanced budgets with healthy, strong reserves for a rainy day. We've maintained our commitment to educational excellence here in the City of Irvine. I am the chairman of the Irvine Educational Partnership Fund, and we provide $9.2 million to Irvine schools. Personal integrity, I am the only council member to refuse the luxury automobile allowance and any personal health care expenses. My goal is to maintain the master plan in the City of Irvine to continue our suburban character. But most importantly, I want Irvine to remain a wonderful place to live, to work, and to raise a family. Thank you.
And Mr. Chemmers.
Well, to me, it's very clear what this election is all about: protecting quality of life for all Irvine families and demanding greater fiscal accountability for Irvine, especially at the Great Park. I committed to knocking on 10,000 doors and have visited more than 8,000 so far. I've spoken face-to-face with thousands of Irvine voters. Their message is clear and consistent. They want the City Council to reduce surface traffic, limit high-density developments, and ensure fiscal accountability. I'm the only candidate who offers a 21st century traffic plan to reduce our traffic. And as your council member, I will work hard to provide independent and transparent leadership. I respectfully ask for your vote.
And now, Ms. Fox.
I am critical of this current City Council, and I'm critical that Mr. Olaleye on the Orange County Transit Authority refused $3.5 million of transit funds. He approved toll lanes on the 405. This council approved 9,500 new homes without any plans for traffic mitigation. They proposed initially a $500,000 cut in the city's theater, the Barclay Theater at UCI. We're now currently busing elementary schools children from one campus to another because their school will not be built for another year. I want to restore Irvine's commitment to thoughtful, community-oriented planning and fight overdevelopment and overcrowding. I will call specifically for a 45 to 90-day timeout. I will invest in Irvine's infrastructure and traffic systems to reduce congestion and meet the demands of our growing communities. I'm an advocate, and I will be an advocate for the residents of Irvine, and I will make sure that we can safeguard Irvine's standing as a world-class city in regard to education, public safety, and quality of life. I'm Melissa Fox.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe it, but we're out of time. We'd like to thank our candidates for taking time from their campaigns to join us today. This and all the forums are available throughout the month on Cox Channel 3. You can also view them via Cox On Demand in the free zone and on Cox's YouTube channel. We encourage you to learn more about the South Orange County Economic Coalition and its ongoing efforts to promote jobs, growth, and economic vitality throughout the South Orange County region by visiting our website at www.economiccoalition.com. On behalf of the South Orange County Economic Coalition and Cox Communication, I'm Dwayne Cave. Thank you for being with us, and be sure to vote on November 4th.